Edge at 11 starts now.
Tonight on The Edge, a suspected vandal might fancy himself as the Great Cornholio.
He's going around town leaving Beavis and Butt-Head graffiti across Detroit. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack joins us live with more on this cartoonish behavior. Jessica, the big question, why?
Yeah, first of all, I want to just point out I'm hitting the peak of my journalistic career, being able to say Cornholio on TV. Well, apparently it's really simple. Apparently, Beavis and Butt-Head was this guy's favorite cartoon growing up, so he wants to put them all over town. We're talking about thousands of images of Beavis and Butt-Head causing problems for Detroit police and other jurisdictions, and it's getting costly cleaning them up.
Cool. How come we didn't think of this before?
That might have unlocked a memory. Good old Beavis and Butt-Head.
Okay, stand still. I'm gonna dye your hair.
Okay, yeah.
It's Detroit police having the last laugh in this episode.
It did backfire.
Uh-oh. An ode to Beavis by the thousands all over the city of Detroit and beyond, on buildings, on construction material, even at the supermarket.
There was multiple situations where we had to have people from the city go out and clean this area up.
You can still spot them around 8 Mile and I-75.
There's a cost associated with us having to go out and clean up each time this character is painted on structures.
Around the same time the city had to clean up this mess this spring, the alleged graffiti artist Brian Heron, who calls himself Beavis, spelled B-V-I-S, outed himself in a local magazine. In it, he boasted he'll do up to 20 Beavis heads a night, calling it almost a compulsion, adding it was his favorite cartoon growing up.
And although most of us love cartoons as kids, we can't go around painting our favorite cartoon characters in multiple locations all over the region.
Detroit police organized crime didn't appreciate the taunting.
Our investigators can handle and track down anyone.
And they did. A search warrant served at his Hazel Park home last week and arrests now 6 felonies for Heron. He's facing 6 counts of malicious destruction of property, 4-year felonies if he's convicted.
The city has dedicated areas where they have murals. Maybe you can participate in one of those.
If you're thinking, why isn't DPD handling the big fish? Well, they say blight and graffiti are some of the most common complaints of Detroiters.
Quality of life things are things that we take seriously.
The graffiti artist, Brian Heron, he was given a $50,000 personal bond, so he is out of custody, but facing some serious charges. We're talking about 6 felonies, and if he's convicted, up to 4 years behind bars. Now, we did reach out to him via social media and did not hear back in time for this story. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Yeah, and with his compulsion, Jessica, it seems like he may not stop anytime soon. But, truthfully, it might be funny for one, perhaps, with Beavis and Butt-Head, but it does really, get in the way of all the progress the city has made. You don't want to see unnecessary graffiti around the city.
And especially, Taryn and Roop, we've talked so much about, all eyes being on Detroit. You got the draft, the Grand Prix, all this stuff. I think that the city is taking it very seriously now because we're really being looked at on a national scale. So that's one of the reasons that the organized crime sector of DPD really cracking down on these guys.
Yeah, seems pretty immature. Just going to say it. Yep. All right, thanks, Jessica, for that.
We're turning to weather. A storm system moved through this evening, but it wasn't too bad.
And now we're hoping for a nice weekend. Captain Rich Luderman returns tonight with our much calmer forecast.
Welcome back, Rich.
Thank you, Roop and Terry. Yeah, beautiful weather coming up for the weekend, including tomorrow. There is a cold front crossing the central Great Lakes. And yes, there were some scattered showers and storms in southern Michigan, especially down near the Ohio border region. Also up around Port Huron. Notice where the big storms are right now, south of Chicago, and also just off to the east of Toronto, some big storms there. How about the numbers today? 91 degrees. It was a hot one. The record for today is 96. You can see the averages 79 and 60 degrees, and that sunset, it continues to get later and later. Right now, 66 Jackson, 73 Windsor, 75 in Port Huron, 72 as far north as Flint. The breeze continues out of the south and west, not as strong as what we had earlier today, but as a result, eventually that cold cold front will cross the area, and you can see on the other side of it, Sheboygan 61, there's Green Bay 66. We're still at 72. Look at Erie, PA. 80 degrees right now, 81 still in Chicago. The real big heat is down south, and some of that heat is coming our way next week. You'll clearly see it in the 7-day forecast. So watch our cold front right over the Great Lakes, and then it shuffles off to the east, allowing high pressure to build in for the weekend. This high is going to give us dry weather for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But next week is when we turn the heat up big time, and you'll see it reflected in that 7-day. For the rest of tonight, we'll call it pleasant. There still could be a shower up near Saginaw Bay and for the tip of the thumb, but we're dry for the rest of tonight down here. 80 degrees tomorrow, partly sunny, very nice looking Friday. And then check out that 7-day forecast. Look at Father's Day, 85, but near 80 for Friday and Saturday. And then next week, we really turn the heat up big time. It's going to be tough going. Remember, always get the latest forecast. You can check it there on the Fox 2 Weather app, and you can download it for free in the App Store or in Google Play.
Dashcam video catching the moment a semi loses control on I-75 in Monroe County, bursting into flames and killing the driver. The semi was going southbound when the driver crashed through the wall near Otter Creek around 4:20 this morning. 4 others suffered minor injuries as the truck came down on the concrete barrier into the northbound lanes. It's not clear tonight what caused the driver to lose control. He's been identified as a 47-year-old man from Belleville.
And a tragedy on Gratiot on Detroit's east side. A woman in her 60s is killed by a hit-and-run driver. The incident took place near Park Grove late this afternoon. As of now, police are not releasing any information about the vehicle, but they are asking for information from anyone who might have witnessed the crime. A heinous crime, though, in Southfield. A 79-year-old man killed by a suspected robber.
He was just walking down the street near his home when police say he was attacked. This happened back on May 30th in the area of Telegraph and Franklin. It was around 11:40 at night. The elderly man was walking with another person when the attack happened. Tragically, he died from his injuries this past Monday. Police do have a suspect in custody. We are expected to learn more tomorrow.
Were there any concerns raised about her safety?
No.
Day 2 of testimony in the murder trial of Samantha Woll. The Jewish leader was killed at her Detroit home by a suspected intruder. According to the medical examiner's testimony today, Woll was stabbed 8 times in the neck and face and then suffered bruises all over her body. Michael Jackson Bolanos faces life in prison if convicted.
To get to Romulus tonight, a family there sound asleep in their home, awakened by the sound of gunfire.
And those bullets were flying right into their home. And as Fox 2's Lauren Edwards reports, the suspect in custody is only 15 years old.
My son was in the room. He was able to get low and crawl out the room.
Charles Sullivan says he'll never forget the harrowing night he and his family had early Wednesday morning last week.
It was 2:30 in the morning. Me and my wife were both asleep, and my son was in the room on the video game. And I guess we heard like firecrackers, sounded like firecrackers popping through the house.
Sullivan did not want his face shown on camera, but says he remembers seeing red sparks everywhere.
And then the next thing you know, we waking up, smoke all in the house.
When the smoke cleared, he saw this, holes throughout his house, including his teenage son's bedroom.
It went through through the closet where the furnace is into the bathroom. So if somebody would have woke up and walked through the house, they probably would have got shot.
Romulus police say a 15-year-old is in custody and has been charged with assault with intent to commit murder, among others. They're searching for another suspect as well. As for Sullivan, he says he has no clue who the suspects may be. He's just grateful everyone made it out alive.
I mean, I grew up in the city when I was younger. Things like this will happen, but, not often, but when you do, you see it on the news, but if they actually have it happen to you, it just shakes you up a lot.
Sullivan says he does have security video, ring camera video, but it did not capture the suspects. He believes that they stood purposefully across the street and out of view to conceal their identities. I'm Lauren Edwards in Romulus on The Edge.
Sex assault, drug dependence, and poor mental health. Just some of the allegations in a lawsuit involving Michigan's only women's prison.
Some former employees now speaking out. They worked for the Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Ypsilanti. Two of them filed a federal lawsuit in 2022 accusing the prison of overlooking the health and safety of its inmates and retaliating against people who spoke out.
They will fill out the grievance form. They'll take it and they'll give it to a guard that's working on shift. In return, that guard will take that grievance. Instead of turning it in, he'll give it right to the person that is being grieved. It's sick. It's absolutely sick, the punishment that goes on in there.
They're now asking Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel to get involved. Quite a bust, I should say, in Rochester Hills.
Police getting a hefty load of cash and drugs off the streets. Now take a look. Detectives seized 3 pounds of marijuana, oxycodone, and Xanax, 4 pounds of psychedelic mushrooms, and $120,000. Investigators were executing search warrants when the discoveries were made, but they're not releasing the details of the operation just yet. A Macomb man has been charged for stealing $700 worth of ammunition from a Dunham store in Chesterfield Township. Now, this man, 26-year-old Eric Banowski, here in this awkward mugshot, police say he attempted to steal the ammunition from the store on Monday and damaged an emergency exit while fleeing from an employee. And it turns out he is legally prohibited from possessing a weapon or ammo. Bond was set at $10,000.